All right, just want to welcome everybody. Everybody is coming in right now. So we've got a few more folks being added to the room. So thank you for joining us for our second March the 2nd, our second Jamboree update. Just want to thank you all for being here with us. I have with me on the call Colonel Jeff Schaefer, and also Mr. Frank Fetzer is with us tonight. And you know Mr. Schaefer. You will know who Mr. Fetzer is by the end of the session here, and we'll get going here. I want to thank you all for your interest in the Jamboree. Currently, there are approximately 15,000 15,000 people that are going to be at the Jamboree. All told, participants, staff members. It's going to be an exciting time that you're looking at. Not quite as many as in past Jamborees, which might mean you get to do more stuff. So that's a good thing for you. As we run through our agenda tonight, we've got everybody muted so that we don't hear the dog barking and the domestic issues at home there. But if you have a question, just type that in the chat box, and we commit to you that we will answer it or get you an answer for that by the end of the session. Or tomorrow at the latest. I would also just let you know that this is being recorded. There was a great point made last time that we need to record these sessions. So this is being recorded, and I'll share that with Mr. Schaefer tomorrow so that he can share with this group if you're interested in that. So those are kind of housekeeping rules and the welcome. So Mr. Schaefer, do you want to kind of get into the overview of where we are and what we're doing?
Thanks, Robert. Hey, it's really good to see Mr. Frank Fetzer on the call with us tonight. For those of you that don't know, Frank is from the Northwest Georgia Council, and he will be the Scoutmaster for our contingent troop. And then there will be 3 other adults that are participating with Frank as Assistant Scoutmaster. So we have been collaborating for the last several months on different pieces of our contingent equipment, our training plan, recruiting. Northwest Georgia has been very helpful in getting tents that we'll use for our contingent, as well as they have been leading locking down the transportation piece. So we'll talk a little bit about all of that. But anyway, Frank, welcome. If you'd like to say something real quick, I'll leave you the floor for a minute.
Well, just let you know I'm here. I'm here all ears right now. Get to know one another. And as I spoke with you earlier, Jeff, I have manipulated my schedule this evening so to attend this Zoom meeting. I felt like this maybe took priority what I actually had scheduled.
Well, we're glad to have you. We really are. So, Mr. Johnson talked about some housekeeping things, getting started and stuff. We've added one more scout from Flint River, Trey Seaman. I see him on the call. So we picked up another scout as a part of our group. But there are a few of you that I still don't have email or phone numbers from, and I'll send you an email announcing that. But I've asked for that before, and I've gotten 0 response. If you don't get me a phone number and you don't get me an email, you may not get clean underwear. I mean, you just may not get some of the stuff that we're doing. So please make sure that you're getting the email that are being sent out about this. And like I said, I'll send you a note if I don't have a good phone number for you, because there are a couple guys that I don't have. Let's talk a little bit about the leadership that's with the contingent. We've already talked about Mr. Fetzer, him being the Scoutmaster. We added another Assistant Scoutmaster, Mr. Dan Melick, and he will be going with the contingent, and he'll be key in making sure that all of our equipment and baggage and stuff gets mailed up there or transported up there. So that's going to be his role. Frank, I always lose the name. Tell me the doctor that's from Northwest Georgia.
Dr. John Suture. I spoke with him.
Dr. Suture is also as an Assistant Scoutmaster from the Northwest Georgia, and he is a medical doctor, and he is going to be our medical officer as a part of the contingent. Mr. Melick is going to take the wilderness first aid course in April, so he will meet the requirement for the medical side of it. But we're fortunate that we'll have a doctor along with us. And then the other adult that rounds out our adult leadership is Mr. Levi White from Flint River Council, Fayette District, and he's going along with, I think he has a son that's also in the contingent. So 4 adults, and then right now we're sitting at about 20, we may be 19, my numbers changed a little bit, but I think we're right about 20 scouts in our contingent that make up. So that puts us just short of about 10 for the makeup of what BSA and what the summit calls a troop. So as Frank and I were talking today, there's a good chance that they will give us some additional, or give this contingent some additional scouts when you arrive at the summit from some other council that did not have a full group. We've all seen the provisional troops that the councils do at summer camp, and that'll be kind of the same kind of thing. It's a potential that we would gain some additional scouts to round out our full contingent. And they do that because there's only so much space, there's only so much equipment. And so to give a full cooking set to a group of 10, this doesn't work. So just know that that's something we'll hear more about it as we go. One of the things right now is we have not received our official Jamboree troop number, but they will assign us a troop number. Now, usually they're 4-digit numbers, and with those, then we will be able to complete our uniform set and all of our markings and stuff to go along with that. And I think part of that, again, is just because they're trying to give the registration some time and figure out how many people are supposed to be part of each one of the troops, or are going to be part of each one of the troops. Okay. As far as the Jamboree updates, everything is still going. You see new stuff daily, but there's nothing earth-shattering and nothing that's going to change the way we're operating. Probably the only thing, as I've mentioned to you, that we may see additional scouts added to fill up our contingent, but that's not going to be an issue. Recommended packing list, I mailed that to everybody. I don't know, Trey Seaman, you may not have the packing list, and I'll get that to you when we get off here tonight. If you don't have it, I'll just send you a copy of that so I know you've got it. If you have any questions about that packing list, let me know. We will go over on our weekend outing at Camp Thunder later this month, just to talk about why some of it is good to have and some of it is necessary. So and then so we'll just go over that more at the outing. But anyway, know that. The next thing,
Jeff,
go ahead,
Jeff.
Yes, sir.
You had sent out that in-depth packing list, and I made approximately 30 copies that I will bring down a couple of weekends away on the 18th. In addition, there were some what to brings, both personal and as a unit, that the Jamboree provided. And I'll also bring about 30 copies of each for that also. Okay, great. Thanks, Frank. Yeah, know that, Frank is the scoutmaster. So, we definitely want to, follow his direction and his inputs. He's the guy when we get there on the ground. I say I'm not going. When you get there on the ground, he's the guy that, sets the pace and drives the direction of the troop and everything. So that's great that he's got thoughts and inputs that we want to update on as we get together at the end of the month. Medical forms. We talked about that last time, but I know, and I've talked to Frank about it, I know that because of insurances and when the date of your last physical, your insurance only covers one every a year or something like that. But that is a very important thing. You will not be allowed to stay at the summit at check-in if your medical record is not there and is not complete and accurate. So please follow the instructions you got from the Jamboree, from the summit organization when you got your registration. Follow that direction and get that medical form submitted. If you've got questions or problems, let myself or Frank know, and we'll step in and get it done.
if you're going to be late, you know, because we'd hope to have all these done by the end of this month when we go to our outing. But if you're going to be late because of circumstances dealing with insurance and things like that, just let us know so we can be tracking it and not counting it as not done. We know it's going to get done, but you're working it. But the medical form is very important, and it's.
Could I interrupt again, Jeff? May
Go
I
ahead.
interrupt?
Yes, sir.
Medical forms, I know that everyone has submitted electronically to the National Jamboree. My personal take on that is I would like to have copies in camp, our campsite. Then I will keep them under lock and key, or Dr. Suture would keep them under lock and key, because I find that it's more relevant that we have that on our person or readily accessible to us versus going to an electronic image and try to find that. But your thoughts on that, please.
I agree. I actually sent an email or message to all of our folks saying, submit thing online, but you make sure that you keep a copy of everything you submitted and bring that to the Jamboree. So if you want to collect them.
If you have it already done, I'll collect them.
Yeah.
Middle of March. And as I said, I keep them under lock and key.
I'll make sure we write that in our March instructions as we close that in. Okay. So Robert, I'll switch back to you if you want to talk a little bit about the swag gear that you're working, and then we can supplement any info that we need to provide and everything.
I will indeed. That this part of this is fairly short. I would add just a couple things. If earlier Mr. Schaefer had mentioned that if he doesn't have a good email for you or a phone for you, you need to get that to him. And it occurs to me that if you don't know what his email is, that might be difficult. Or Mr. Fetzer, you certainly don't. My email, I'm easy to find. I'm at the council office. So if you feel like I don't have a perfect way to do this outside of Jeff, maybe, or Ms. Schaefer, maybe you could feed me what you've got and I could try to match it up somehow. But if you don't think you're getting emails or you don't think you're getting communication on our side, I just want to be proactive to say, we feel like we're doing a good job with this. So if you're not getting communication from us, send me a note and we can robert.johnson@scouting.org and I will link that up if necessary, but we specifically Mr. Schaefer is sending out information. So if you're not getting that or you don't feel like you're getting that, feel free to ask. I was going to have the same kind of comment about the medical forms, but that was hit. Also, two of the things that we're working on gear is we've also been working with a gentleman by the name of Barrett Thompson. Barrett is a really good volunteer of the Flint River Council, and he is also a gear guy. And one of the challenges that we've had this year is that in past jamborees, the supply division issues or they have gear available, bags and such, and you can buy them or get them. They don't have that this year unless you pre-ordered a year and a half ahead. So we're doing our own pack and duffel bag. The day pack is on the ground, being we have it. It's a red Osprey bag. It's a really nice bag, and we're going to get it embroidered. Our plan is to get it embroidered with the name and the troop number once we get those for all of our folks. There's a lot of questions about gear and that kind of thing, but it's also got the hole in it that's important to some people with the bladders and that kind of thing. If you for those of you that want that, but it's an Osprey bag, a name brand kind of thing, really nice. We're also going to do duffel bags. Those are not cheap, obviously, but we're trying to work a premium type product with that, certainly based on the cost of this event. So he's helping us try to figure out either a Mountain Hardware or a North Face or some sort of a nice product, and we'll also get that embroidered with the name and the troop number. As I mentioned last time, would prefer, my name is Robert. If I go by Rob, then that's fine, but we'd prefer not to have your nickname on it probably. So just give us whatever you're going to go by at the Jamboree kind of thing for your name badges and whatever you give us when it comes time to embroider, that's what we're going to do. So please make sure we get that. And I'll let you go ahead and hit my last thing. here, just while you got me. Not going to go name by name, but I had mentioned this the last time, but there is one individual that I know of that I have kind of an outside payment schedule with. At this point, for Flint River, you should be paid in full. And if you're not at this camp out, we're gonna ask you about that, because we're paying out fees for this now pretty heavily here. So these are big buys, and so we need to get those fees paid. Most everybody has done a really nice job with that. And again, we're not going to spend a lot of time on it outside of letting you know that if you haven't already taken care of that, you really need to do that. If you don't know where to go to pay the fee, again, robert.johnson@scouting.org. Send me an email, or you can call me at the office, and I will send the link to you where you can make that payment, anything you have outstanding. So I've also had a couple folks join late, Mr. Schaefer there. So just to remind everybody, this session has been recording since we started, and we'll get you a copy of the full transcript tomorrow, maybe. That's all I got.
Okay, the thing under Robert's list of swag and stuff was tents. Northwest Georgia, they had a cachet of tents that they offered up for our contingent, which precludes us having to go out and buy tents. So we will have some of those tents at the outing at the end of the month, so everybody can get familiar with how to put them up, as well as how we organize and align the contingent troops campsite at the summit, because there are specific requirements for measurement, distance between troops, distance between tents, and where tents can go and not go. We'll talk about all that during our outing. Patches are on there. Frank and I have been working patches now back and forth, and unless somebody on this call is a great artist and got a great idea, we think we're okay with what we're going to do. We've got a design that we're kind of, starting to crawl with. So by the time you come to the end of March outing, we'll have the patches pretty much on order or finalized, and we'll be able to show you what the patch is. Now, in the past, Flint River Council, and even now, a lot of councils make a huge or a good size patch set. And the expense of that has usually been written off by either individuals paying more money or getting a sponsor to pay money for and support paying for the patches. We have not been able to do that, and we don't intend to charge each one of you more money for patches. So there was money in the budget for some of the patchwork, and we're gonna keep it there. So right now we envision having a council strip patch that is a joint strip between Northwest Georgia and Flint River Council, and then a Jamboree trading patch, which you'll get, and then you can buy additional ones, if you want to buy more and trade them. But that's the two patch set. We're not looking to create a separate Order the Arrow patch or a group of patches that consist of 5 or 6 different council strips that come together to form a gigantic patch. I'm sorry, I wish we could do that, but just with our numbers, people, we only have, like I said, 20 plus scouts. Normally we have close to 100 scouts, so we just can't produce enough and get the benefit of what the cost is and the setup costs and all that. So we're going to keep it simple, and we'll hopefully show that to you in March. But do know that there is going to be a specific council shoulder strip and a specific patch for you to wear and trade. And as part of your registration, we will receive the Jamboree patch, and hopefully we'll get them by March. I don't know whether we'll have them by then or not, but you will get a copy of the Jamboree patch, which you can also place on your uniform to their standard. Okay, so we come to the training weekend, which is, like I said, it's the 17th through the 19th of March. We're going to spend that weekend at the We call it the Flint River Adventure Area, FRAA. It is another part of our Camp Thunder. We will be using the large dining facility there to eat our meals, as well as a classroom, meeting room there where we'll be able to do our inside discussions. We'll do low cope, which is also at that site, and that's on the outside. And you'll be tenting in our council's platform tents. These are large wall tents on wooden platforms, and there are at least 2 bunks inside of each one of the tents that has a mattress on it. So they're very, very comfortable tents, and they're within walking distance, 200 feet from the dining facility, or where we'll be doing the cope. So I think most of you guys, Flint River Council, are familiar with that. If you've never been to the canoe base, this will be a high adventure for you then. I mailed you a copy of or emailed you a copy of the agenda, training agenda for that weekend, to kind of show you a broad sweep of what we're going to discuss. It's kind of broken down into morning and afternoon sessions. But that kind of gives you an idea of the things that we're going to go over. And you can kind of prepare yourself. At least you'll know what to expect. It is important that you bring a notebook and a pen or writing implement, so you can take any notes and collect any data that we might pass out, and then do a reminder to yourself of what you didn't get or what you still need to get as a part of your preparation. I look forward to that training weekend. Flint River Adventure Area is a neat place, and it's right on the Flint River. Spring turkey season will just about kick off here in Georgia, and I'm sure you will hear a lot of thunder chickens gobbling in the morning down there in the woods. I don't know if we've received any questions in, Robert, through the call box.
We have not, so I'm
Okay.
not sure if they're tired of hearing us talk, or if we've answered the questions thus far. So if you have questions, we're kind of wrapping up our part of the agenda here. If you have anything, please put it in the chat box, and I'll relay it, and Mr. Fetzer or Mr. Schaefer, one can answer it. We'll try to take your questions.
Could I ask a question, Robert?
Certainly.
I'm working with a local business who is, I've known the owner for years and years, actually went to high school with him, on some shirts. And so give me an idea of what kind of colors the group wants to try to utilize, and I'll continue working with him, and hopefully I sent an image down to Jeff. Maybe I'll have it kind of more pinpointed down what we're going to use. But Jeff and I were talking about maybe 2 colors. I'm thinking more around 3. And then Jeff mentioned something about his washing machine. That tickled me to death. So I like the way he thinks. But would that be something we want to discuss tonight, so I can continue working on that with my contact?
I'm fine if we discuss it, or if you just, Mr. Fetz, are you looking for some feedback on colors, or are you what specifically?
Colors. And I know it's, in the past we just take orders, but we are continuing to recruit on our end, so there's going to be a little leeway in sizes what we have to navigate through. And I'll get a pretty good picture next week, or not next week, but when we meet on the 18th, what the overall sizes of the youth are and the adults. Give me some.
Yeah, actually, it's my intent that when we meet there for the outing in March, is I'll have a spreadsheet with names, and our budget included a shirt or 2 shirts for everybody that's a part of the contingent. So you can buy scouts can buy additional shirts if they want more. So we'll discuss the numbers, but the spreadsheet is intended to assign a size, and each scout will be asked to write down their size on our spreadsheet, so we get them what they want. If they want to super large or they want it extra small so their muscles will stick out. It's all good. My rule of thumb for colors has been to try to get the brightest color and maybe something that's a little different. A bright royal blue, or purple, or a lime green, colors that make it easier for us to see and locate scouts in a group of 15,000 other participants. It just it's always helped the scouts themselves, and it's helped the leadership track them. So that's kind of where I'm headed as far as the colors go. It's my thoughts anyway, to go that way.
You had one comment in the chat box that says earthy tones that do not show dirt, and then we had one person just had a question mark, so I'm not sure if that was related to the earthy tones or what that meant there. So that was two pieces of one.
Yeah.
Piece
Well,
of feedback.
I would agree. We're not going to have a yellow or a white or a pale blue or anything that, like you said, that will show colors. And we'll train at the March outing about how to do laundry and stuff. I think at the last Jamborees, they had a laundry service where you could take your clothes up, turn them in to the commissioner. They would send them out, and then you'd get them back at some point. So that is an option. My experience was that it wasn't that great a service. It didn't come back in a timely manner. So you're walking around without any underwear. And my goal is that we'll provide a washing capability there for you. You just have to be manual in operation. And so I think it's on the packing list to bring some Tide Pods and some clothespins. That should be on the packing list if it's not. And that's, again, gives you the ability to do some laundry and hang it up there. And the other thing that I didn't mention, I told you we were going to collect names, sizes and stuff for your shirts. We have name tags on the list of our bling that each scout gets. Envision these name tags will be plastic pin-on name tags. They'll have the Jamboree logo in one end of them, and then you can put 2 lines of text on the Jamboree on the name tag. Normally that's your name, and then you can put your troop number. I've always kind of liked putting where I'm from, so I would put Jeff Schaefer, Peachtree City, Georgia. And that's the way I ran my name tag. But we'll collect that information in March at the end of this month at the outing, so that you will get your order in the way you want to. It's important that we collect it from you, so I make sure we spell your name correctly on your name tag. It's always makes it bad when people spell Schaefer. I'm simple, and they always spell it SCHAEFFER. It's not me. Who's that guy? So I want to make sure you get your option to make sure your name tag is spelled correctly. And again, that's another thing that we'll do in March. Now, so I saw a question about the bags, Robert. Popped up.
The bags, embroidered bags, are part of the cost. If there's anything that costs, everything that we're talking about here, outside of when Mr. Schaefer or Mr. Fetzer says you want to do something, you want 10 shirts, you have to buy 8 of them probably. But on the bags and the basics that we're talking about there, the duffel bags, the day packs, the mess kits, the shirts, that's going to be included with our cost of the trip. So the short answer, do embroidered bags cost extra? No, they do not. They're included in your cost. The only thing that I just want to level expectations that I'm hearing on my side is every 2 weeks I'm involved in a call where a whole myriad of issues are discussed, and Jamboree is one of them. And it sounds like to me the national group is having some problems piecing this thing together. The meshing troops, they don't know where they are. And so the only issue that I could see there is a situation where if we don't get the troop number in time, we may not be able to embroider that as a part of this, but your name will be embroidered on that bag no matter what.
Right. And Robert brought up mess kits. Really the easy thing would be able to do paper products, plastic forks and spoons and paper cups and all that stuff. But the Jamboree is not situated, and they always are very much in sustainability, but they're not situated to handle the trash, especially the numbers of paper products that would be generated. So we will buy everybody a cup, a plastic plate, and a fork and spoon somewhere. It'll come from the dollar store or someplace, and that will get packed up in a box, and it'll come with the contingent there to the Jamboree. So that when you get there, you'll have a mess kit that we've assembled for you to eat out of. When we're finished with the Jamboree, you can take it home with you. You can throw it away or do whatever you want to do with it. Won't be a $10 mess kit, but know that you don't have to pack a knife, fork, and spoon and a cup. We'll make sure that everybody has the same thing, and it's part of the kit, and it just gets washed with the dishes and laid out on the table and dried, and someone uses it the next day. It'll be like going to the dining hall. Everything will be the same. So,
Jeff, can
it's
I
part of the
interrupt
kit.
again?
Go ahead, Robert or Frank.
Knife, fork, and spoon. We do have, or still have a leader that was in our Northwest Georgia Council that worked for an airline. And hey, they have the knife, fork, spoon, it'll be packet. And I'll be more than happy to throw those in, locate them. We have a warehouse full of these things. And
It'd be one we don't have to buy if you want to do that.
well, it's just something you don't have. And I utilize those with our new scouts when they come into my unit, is I just drill holes in the end of it and put a little O-ring on it. And so they always have their kit with them. And they're fairly durable. I mean, yeah, you can chew one in half if you put a little effort to it, but I'll throw 80 or so, 100 in a box.
Okay, good.
And we'll have them.
Well, I'm sure there will be other kit that we will box up and get there for everybody. But as we build this thing, our goal is that you will get your duffel bag and your day pack, and so you can pack it and get there. You'll have your shirt, your patches, and all that you will bring yourself to the Jamboree. The troop contingent equipment like tents and tent stakes and all that kind of stuff that we have to bring, we'll have it there. Then the Jamboree will draw from them all the cooking and cooking fly and big shelters to cook under, pots and pans, propane, all that we will draw from them. And all the food comes from a commissary that we draw out of from them every day. So the only thing we really haven't talked about, and it goes back to what is our troop number stuff, is our Jamboree flag. That has not come up. And I don't know whether that's been addressed in any of the discussions and meetings that they have, but we will get a Jamboree flag, and we can buy additional ones of those so that Northwest Georgia and Flint River Council both would have a copy of that to keep in their archives or dining halls or wherever they might want to hoist it after the Jamboree. Okay, I know I'm going on. I don't want to cut you off if there's any questions. The whole purpose of our get together is to give you the opportunity to ask questions, share information, make sure we're all tracking, and know that we're looking forward to seeing everyone there at the March 17 through 19 outing at the Flint River activity area. If you're not going to be there due to a conflict in schedule, your cat's having babies or whatever it might be that would keep you from showing up, please send an email to me or Robert or Frank or someone, leadership. So we're not looking for you to be there, and we can make sure that we are able to share something that you might miss by not being there. We had originally intended to have 2 of these training events, one in March and one in April. I believe we can accomplish it all now. Since we're a small unit, we can accomplish it all in one weekend. And I'm looking that we'll be there Friday night. The Northwest Georgia folks will arrive later in the night. Get there.
Interruption,
I'm sorry.
interruption.
Yeah, go
May I
ahead.
interrupt? I just learned within the past week that schools are out that Friday, so we may be down earlier depending
great.
upon adult work schedules. Dr. Suture, myself, I'm planning to take the day off, so I'll be free to come down. But we're gonna carpool down together
Good.
in one vehicle if at all possible. So I did send out information to my group that I do know that the county schools here in Whitfield County are out. Murray County schools are out. I'm not sure about this Dalton City public schools. That's something
Schools have their spring break at the 1st of April. So I think that's probably what your spring break looks like. It may be just a little bit earlier, and that's why they're out.
One last note, Mr. Fetzer and Schaefer, as we're wrapping up, I just want to say this as somebody that's been through this a few times myself. It is, and parents too, please, it is incredibly important that your scout or scouts attend these sessions. This is not like at Troop 1 where they hang out with their buddies every Monday night and they're already a cohesive unit. They've already got the esprit de corps. They work together all the time. This is going to be 22 people coming from different places. A lot of them don't know each other yet. It is very important that you all have invested a lot of money and effort into this trip. It's going to be a lot smoother if you can show up on site there at the summit with some level of a team spirit when you get there, as opposed to spending the first 3 days figuring out who each other are and how you operate. Just a thought. Yeah,
it's definitely in a group where you don't know each other and there's so many scouts running around up there. It's the cohesiveness and everything that we can blend on this outing was great. I see Pam Bird posted a note that Fayette County schools were also out on that Friday, so that's good. And everybody ought to be, I know some families will want to be taken off for a long weekend, but we need to have those scouts down there. We'll provide childcare if you want to use it that way. Frank's interruption a few minutes ago made me have a alibi here real quick, because I didn't talk to you about our transportation in July from Flint River Council and from Northwest Georgia, and how we're going to get to the Jamboree. And it's still a work in progress. Mr. Fetzer has been able to harangue in the use of at least 2 and possibly a third 15-passenger van. And Mr. Melick is offering up his pickup truck and a trailer to pull behind his truck with all the gear and tents and stuff in it. So right now, it's just, like I said, it's a work in progress. But right now, we will probably work to meet the Northwest Georgia group in Dalton, Georgia. And there's a church there that Mr. Fetzer goes to, and he will have those vans and stuff there. So we'll set up a carpool. Everybody travel there at a link up time, and there's where we'll do our actual load up into the vans and stuff, and go on toward the summit in West Virginia. It just didn't seem reasonable to have them come all the way down here 2 hours to turn around and drive 2 hours back up, where we've got to get on I-75 and head that way anyway. So just that's the plan. We'll talk about it more at the outing in March, but everybody knows that's kind of what we're looking to do. So the transportation looks like it's going to be covered okay.
Final comment just for Mr. Schaefer and Fetzer. It looks like, well, you said that Pamela Bird, but Ms. Bird says Fayette County Schools. We had another comment that Coweta is out also. So we won't get into all that necessarily tonight, but if we need to back that up and start a little earlier, if that makes sense, I guess you guys can get back with this group and decide what that looks like.
I got it.
So,
okay.
All right,
Okay,
well,
well, I'm finished. I'll be quiet and let the hands go. So if anybody's got any questions, please pop up here on the chat real quick, or otherwise I'll look forward to seeing you on the 17th. And I will send another message out to everybody, just confirming all the meeting plans and all that stuff for the outing in the end of the month.
Jeff.
Yes, sir.
In your email communication out to everyone, how about including my email in there? If anybody needs to contact me or any of that nature.
I will. The last one I sent out, I included you in there, but I will make sure that it's in the body so
Okay.
that you're as well.
Right. Okay.
Can do.
all right, gentlemen. Well, thanks for your time tonight. We're wrapping up here. No other questions. I think we've pretty well covered everything. And thank you for joining us. This is going to be a great trip for you and your scouts, and we're looking forward to making this really a memorable experience. And you'll get communication in the coming days, and we look forward to seeing you at the shakedown. So good night, everybody.
Thanks, Bob. Good night.